grab your wine. It's time for Rosé All Day and Juleigh's a Mess, where we talk about current events and living in an intersex life. And now, here's Juleigh.
Hi, everybody. It is Rosé All Day, Juleigh's a Mess, with our substream of Optimistic in Orlando. This is tonight's show. We're filming it a little bit early because Rebecca's going to London. It is about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, but it will be airing tonight. And so, unfortunately, we won't be able to see everybody's comments in the comment thread, but please still comment. And it is December 10th. So first off, I'm excited. Rebecca is literally going to Canterbury, which, if you know anything about English literature, the Canterbury Tales is established around that town. She is going with her parents, and it's a little bit like The Holiday and Love Actually. And I can't wait to talk to her about it because she's excited. You think Juleigh's a mess, though? Rebecca was going to be in studio tonight live. We had a whole day planned out. We were going to spend girl time together. We were going to do some things for the podcast and the series. We were going to have a lot of fun and put some episodes in the bank. And she called me last night in a panic and said, I left my passport in Savannah. She goes, so I have to leave my mom and dad's house, drive back to Savannah in the morning. I have time to do one show. So let's do tomorrow night's show. Then I have to get back in the car, leave by 5, drive back to Melbourne, get up Monday morning, work, and then go to the airport so they can go to London. Am I a little jealous? Yes. Am I upset that she's not here? I'll see her again. But
we'll have the most epic trip ever, too, because we're going to be like, well, we got to get back what we lost. So whenever you want to do.
She's going to try and join us next week from London. Manny and Nate were figuring out that it's doable if we air at the same time we always do on Sunday nights. It would only be about mid in London.
That works for me.
So, and I was like, she's young. She can stay up a little bit later.
I always stay up late.
Too. But tonight's show, we are talking about privacy, which is weird that we're talking about that this week because even outside of Optimistic in Orlando, I have been going through some privacy issues, and the theme is not necessarily the same tonight. Here we're talking about how much you open up to your partner or to people you're dating. It's more about, so we saw a great video. I saw a great video last week when I was preparing for last week's show. And it was people that were in public situations and would like reach for a condom and at the table, and the girlfriend would bring the cell phone back real fast and like be like, I don't want you to see anything. Or the guy. And people are really shady like that. So privacy in that manner, like, are you hiding things from possible relationships? Is that right? Is that fair? If you have privacy issues, do we talk about it? When do you talk about it in the relationship? That's what tonight's about. And then my privacy issues were just, did I want to share something that I went through that was very private? But it's just odd that there's that ongoing theme, and it just kind of filters over into kind of everything. So privacy, let's talk about it. Privacy. What are your thoughts on that? Like, if you're in a new relationship where you meet somebody, Rebecca, online, you meet somebody yesterday online, and y'all start to talk and y'all decide to meet up, and you go and meet up, when should that conversation happen? And what is your expectation?
So in no relationship I've ever been in have I actually had a meta conversation about privacy. My default has always been, I don't, and perhaps this is irresponsible. I don't like looking at their phone, and I make an effort, especially early dating, to look away. It's like this unspoken dance. So like I'll look away if they're looking for pictures or looking through something. Early dating, first few months. And then that almost like establishes trust. But then if the person hands you the phone so that you can scroll through pictures or whatever, that's them offering you this olive branch of like, you can trust me. Somebody that I've been recently always seems to leave his phone out and everything in plain view. And it seems like it makes me feel very, very comfortable. And I think if where I would see a flag is if the person's doing the opposite. So like in the video, if somebody's taking their phone away, I'm like, oh my God, that's problematic. They're trying to hide something. Then the conversation opens up of, hey, I honestly, I'm weirded out by that behavior. Is there anything on your phone I should know about? Then things happen again. The phone is turned over, when you come out of the shower or something. So I think I am somebody who operates off of, I'd actually just prefer to get lucky and have a partner that likes to sort of offer things up to me. And then I, however, like having privacy on my phone because I will often talk shit about my partner to my friends, right? Like, or I'll be like, oh, look at this really cute picture of him. And then if the thing comes in while he's looking at the phone, it's like really embarrassing. So that's one of the reasons, or like sometimes, we just have things like, maybe we have a notes app and we journal weird stuff. It can kind of, sometimes looking at someone's phone can kind of feel like a journal. So one of the ways that I avoid that is just like hiding notifications of groups of people who are awfully chatty, who might be, the peanut gallery on what's going on my date. Anyway, that's kind of me in a nutshell.
I mean, I believe that, and we are talking about this too. Look, if you share it with me, you share it with me. I am confident enough going in that, but there are going to be people that are traumatized by past relationships. And so they're going to wonder, is he cheating? Is he texting other girls? Is she texting ex-boyfriends? Do they have that? And I personally believe that in any relationship, when that olive branch maybe is offered, that's when you should absolutely be like, okay, while we're on the subject, how do you feel about this? And what about this? And I also think it's, but I don't think that's a conversation that should happen in the first 2 or 3 dates. I think you need to establish that you're dating that person.
Yeah.
And that there is a definitive exclusive.
I think the moment
that I tell people I'm dating, that's what dating is. You are dating multiple people in the hopes to find somebody that you connect with and you match and you're good. And when you're good, that's when you have that discussion and your partner says, let's go exclusive. And when things go exclusive, then you say, okay, not going to talk to past relationships, not going to engage in anything that could be perceived as not being honest with my partner. I shared with Rebecca earlier on before we started to record this episode that my roommates have, they're fully, I call it the command center. Do you have access to your partner's command center? What I mean by that, that's not just phone. That's not just his phone. Do you have access to the command center? Meaning they're going to share with you their thoughts on things. They're going to say, I don't really like it when you do this, or I don't, because that's a healthy relationship. And if you don't have access to the command center, that's when I'd start to be like, are we exclusive? And that's when those conversations need to be had. I love that my roommates will literally, not to give out their business, but look, gay men are gay men, right? And everybody has exes and partners and friends, and everybody talks about everything. And so I love that they will say, oh, so-and-so said this. And and one will hand his phone over and the other one will be like, all right, cool, great. So they're always on that same playing field, right? They even do it with their son a little bit, where this morning they were trying to help their son find an apartment, because that's the time that their son's at right now. And they were talking at the breakfast table this morning about how they have to be on the same page. And sometimes what the son tells one, he won't tell the other. And so it leads them to think sometimes that there is a disconnect, or that somebody is that a landlord's being shady, people. And then the one dad will be like, no, you have to get the straight facts from our son. And then when the son gives out all that correct, but they have access to everybody's command center, which is great. And I think that those conversations be held when you go exclusive, because you're putting everything on the table at that point. And you're saying, I'm taking you off the market. I'm making you exclusive. We're going to work on just our relationship together. Therefore, no more talking to relationships. Don't do anything that I would find suspect or shady. Let's hide your phone in public. If you get a phone call, don't get up and walk away from the table. These are all things that couples don't necessarily think about, or people that are dating certainly don't think about. And it comes across as you being very guarded and shady. But we also have to remember that past trauma is going to play into that as well.
Well, and then there's the other side of it, of the past trauma of people who have had absolutely crazy exes who were very controlling and jealous. And so that's why that conversation, a two-way conversation about it, is valuable, because somebody could say, when you want to check my phone every time I get a message and it has a number that we don't recognize, like, that actually gives me this claustrophobic feeling. I'm happy to share it with you. Can we go about it a different way, though? Or can we develop a little bit of trust that it doesn't feel as... But I think what I was also thinking about is that you get to a point in a relationship where you share passwords. Because it's like, babe, can I use your computer because my Netflix is broken? And then you get their password, and then now you might have access to their iMessages, their emails, everything. And when you are in sort of like a loving, very trusting relationship, that's a very natural flow to happen. Like, of course they could have my password. You get on their email and they're like, oh yeah, your boss reached out. Don't forget to reply. But the people, again, if people are guarded about that, unless they're willing to talk about past trauma with that, then it's shady, in my opinion. And
I think it's shady too when you online dating, you're meeting people on apps, and they may not just have one app to meet people. And so there are people that will come back and say, well, he deleted the app, or she deleted the app that we met on. But now I'm being told that he's still on Tinder. She's still on Hinge. That, they're still on, and you think, yeah, that's not, I mean, I would think when you go exclusive, you would want full transparency with your partner at that point. But again, that's not something that's going to happen right away.
Yeah, I think it's like, you don't have to be like policing everything, but you need the right to ask. Hey, I'm so sorry. I'm having a panic moment. I'm feeling a little triggered. Can I just look at your phone? And it'll really put me at ease. Like, if you can't ask that question, something shady is going on.
But if you're also asking that question every other day, and
you're the problem.
And then he gets in the shower, she gets in the shower, and you're like, well, her phone's right there, and I know her password. So I followed his password script. Like, that's a little invasive. And I think that's a huge red flag for anybody involved.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that was so funny. I had this like crash of thunder. The universe does not like it. I think that goes down to sort of a conversation sort of around consent with your partner, is that a lot of people kind of often throw various levels of consent out that you should normally ask. And I think you need to keep a high level of that, of like, you can always look at my phone. I just want you to ask first. Because if
we're always like, going to have, look, people hate online dating, and we're always going to hear stories. Last week, during the podcast about how I'd heard a woman in one of these Facebook groups say that her boyfriend was all of a sudden making all these guy and going out and doing guy things, parties and card games, and then she found out that one of the guys was actually a past girl that he was just programming into his phone, Steven from accounting. And then she found out that it was Lucy from accounting who he used to bang on the Xerox machine. And so I thought, yeah, that's triggering, right? That's triggering. But again, and so what point in that dating process do you then say, you have a history of doing this and I'm not okay with that?
Yeah. It's really a challenge. And then it goes back to like, when I hear that story, I'm like, well, that guy's a bad egg.
Right.
Like, and some things are kind of unavoidable. Like if somebody's like psychopathic or sociopathic, they're going to get you every time. There's no sniffing out those red flags. Like sometimes you can sniff out a terrible person right away. The really awful ones, they go under the radar. Then secondly, a lot of people who are compulsive liars or compulsive adulterers or whatever are very, very, very good at it. Like this guy. And they're a bad egg. And you have it and you go through that experience and it's devastating, but it's kind of like some of the other awful shit that comes into our lives that you know what that's like, where it's like, all right, I got to roll with it and move on to the next. And then how do I talk to the next person about the fact that I have trauma around this now? And that's the conversation we're talking about.
Right. That's the one where you say, just, yes, that thunder, you have to drive in that later because it's going to rain here later in Orlando. So I feel like you may be driving back in that to Melbourne.
Nice. Very moody. Yeah.
So normally we do gutter swipes. Last week we told you everybody in the hive had kind of fallen out of the hive. This week, everybody has kind of stayed in the hive. Although my pet peeve this week is people that you match with and you message and they never come back on the app to answer the message.
I hate that.
Right. That's almost
because their girlfriend checked their phone.
Right. And then, or, some guys are so instead of a gutter swipe of the week this week, and because this episode will be just under an hour because we got to get Rebecca back to Melbourne, I am sharing a gentleman of the week. We don't do it often. I covered his name, but this morning on the hive, and then we have some hive stories, but this morning on the hive, I actually got a message from a guy that I'd matched with last week, somebody that was older. And he says throughout his profile on the hive, he hates online dating. His hell is online dating. He hates it. He's looking for a relationship. This is what he likes to do. He's semi-retired, right? But he was like, I hate online dating. I thought that I was going to have to go visit my parents at the beginning of this week because of some things that are going on in my family. I did not have, so he said, can I take you out next week? And I said, well, I think I might be gone through Wednesday. Let me figure. So then I messaged him and said, hey, I don't have to go on Monday. I'll be here. And then he sent me the sweetest message. And I read this message and I went, that's how it should be done on online dating. If everybody responded to each other the way that this gentleman responded to me, online dating would be a pleasant environment and people would have better results. So our gentleman of the week, let me make sure I find it. Is this it? No. Where did I put it? Is this it? Yes, gentleman of the week. This is how it should be done every time. He said, good morning, Juleigh. I wanted to let you know that I had a second date yesterday with someone and we will be seeing each other again. I'm going to take a break from meeting anyone else to concentrate my attention and energy on this relationship. I thank you for your time and interest and wish you all the best.
I love that. And I love your reply. I mean, what a beautiful, there's so many layers to what he says
And
here.
what did I say?
Yeah, your reply. Thank you so much for being enough of a gentleman to reach out and share that best of luck to you and that lucky person. I love it. This whole encounter. It's so easy, guys, and it's so amazing.
It really is easy. And I always say kindness is free. And here's the thing. I have met many men that will go back and read my profile and really read it, right? And then come back and be like, that's not something that I'm interested in, or that's not something I understand or can do. Great. A lot of men don't. A lot of men go back after they've swiped on your picture, women too, and they start to read and go, oh, I'm not a match for this person. Fuck them. And then they unmatch with you, and you go, well, you matched with me. So what now? A response like that took no time for him to wake up this morning and say, hey, I went out on a second date with somebody I'd already met. I really like them. I'd like to give that opportunity. That doesn't mean he won't come back 2 or 3 weeks and be like, oh, it didn't work.
Right. And then you know you can trust him.
It doesn't mean that it also doesn't mean that he wasn't interested in me. It means that he was nice enough and had found enough in his own walk with online dating that he knew that he didn't want to treat anybody that way. That is very powerful. It's very powerful.
And you know what, guys? I feel like I would not be upset to find out if someone sent that to me, even if they were lying. Like, you guys should just go back, rewind a little bit, type that message out, put it in your notes app, and send it to anyone you don't want to go out with again, and fucking lie to them. It's a great lie. I think he was telling the truth, but to be honest, sending a message like that is, even if you're lying, is so much better than silence. Because you're sending positive energy to the person. You're acknowledging, you're saying you matter in the world, and I want to acknowledge that, and I want to send you on your way, and I also want to show you a sign of my character and where my loyalties are at right now. So it doesn't even matter if you're lying. It's the energy exchange that matters to me, but I have no ethics.
Right. It is that just being honest and saying, I'm going to turn my attention to something else.
Yeah.
You know, I laughed because I was like, fuck, he lived in Winter Park. That's a kind of desirable area of Orlando. So I was like, crap. But I'm not a gold digger. It was just kind of like, he was balcony. He is a balcony person, which we've talked about before. And that's the difference.
I actually had a girl that I went on a date with. She was a comedian. She was very cool. We had met online, I think in the early days of Bumble back in LA. And I was trying really hard. It was like one of my first few real dates with the woman. And I was like, I can't tell if it's going well or not. Like, we're having good conversation, but we went home, and almost immediately after the date, or maybe I said something first. Maybe I said I had a really great time. But she said, and I verbatim copied and pasted it and sent it to somebody else once, and he thanked me. She said, Rebecca, I had a really, really nice time hanging out with you, and I feel like we had awesome conversation. There's not a spark there for me, but I genuinely had a really nice time. She did not say, let's be friends. She didn't even say, wish you well. She just acknowledged what I thought was happening and acknowledged for her what wasn't happening, which was that she desired me that way. But that's okay.
And look, again, you never know the effect you're going to have on people. I was sharing with Rebecca, I matched with somebody on the Hive last night because we've been doing this thing lately where I've been clearing out the Hive a lot because it's a little overwhelming, and I was up because of other issues. So I matched with somebody late last night, and we started to chat, and he was like, I'm on my way home from a Christmas party. He was like, we've talked before. And I literally went, nah, I don't think we have. And he was like, yeah, we've chatted before. He was like, now this is where it gets a little weird. He goes, isn't your prefix on your phone number, is it still this? And he gave me the correct 3 numbers for my prefix. And I went, uh-huh. And he went, and are the next 3 numbers this? And I went, uh-huh. And I'm still looking at his pictures, and I'm like, and then I get a text from him, and he was like, "Is this you?" He goes, and then he said, "I literally am getting off of the Hive tonight." He goes, "This has not been beneficial to me, and I'm deleting the app." And then he deleted, and he goes, "I have been looking for you for the last 5 years. Where did you go?" And I'm sharing this with Rebecca. She's hearing some of it right now. And I said, "Well, I moved. I didn't like Orlando, and I had other opportunities, and I left." And I said, I'm sorry. I don't remember you. Are you sure that we know each other? But you have my phone number. So obviously we chatted at some point. And he goes, "I have wanted to text you so much in the last 5 years, and I just didn't know where you were." And he goes, "You were my first." And I said, "I was your first what?" Last night. And he goes, "You were my first intersex individual, but also I thought you were trans at the time." He goes, "You would have been my first trans woman." But he goes, "You're not trans, you're intersex." But he goes, "You were my first." And he goes, that's where I kind of realized that what I like, and I tend to date women that are trans and not cisgendered. And he goes, "I've even experimented with men lately." And he goes, "But you were my first, and I've always been drawn to you." And I thought, okay, that's sweet. Didn't see that coming.
Okay, wait. Is he where?
He lives in Orlando. He lives in Orlando. Since I've spent time with him, he had a kid. So he has a kid, a young kid, like 6. And then he lives in Orlando, and he remembers over to my house, like, and I was like, and he goes, "You really don't remember me?" And I'm like, I don't. I'm a cougar. Rebecca knows I like the young ones. Odds are he was probably younger, and I just don't remember him. Like, and I told him last night, I said, "Look, not to make myself sound like a slut, but I've met and dated so many men in the last 5 years that you really would have had to have made to remember." And I, not fair, but I said, "I'm old. I'm old. Like, give me a bone." And he goes, "I have always remembered you, but they always say you remember your first." I don't know. He wants to come over and cuddle tonight, but then I've got the Williams, not Wendy Williams, got the Wendy Walsh thing at 9:30. And then I also have been talking pretty religiously to, we're calling him Honeypot. That's his nickname. This is a gentleman that has been pursuing me for a while. He wants to open his own farm, but not because he wants to sell animals from the farm. He just wants to have a homestead farm where he can provide for his family off of the land and off of the animals, the few animals that we have. I'm already and he wants to make honey mead. And we are talking so much that he's like, he calls me babe, and we're talking, and like he called me this morning and he said, "I'm a little upset with you." And I said, "Oh no, what did I do?" I said, "Why are you upset with me?" And he goes, "I haven't heard from you in a couple of days." And I said, "Well, this is why." And he was like, "Well, you need to call in." He was like, "You need to check in." So
I like that.
I like it. And Rebecca saw his picture today, and he's a cutie.
Like I can see you on a farm and helping with the honey mead. And
He's so funny because I make jokes all the time. Like, I'm here for it. I can't wait to go sit out on my porch and have a hot cup of morning tea and watch the like mist rise off the hot ground and maybe go feed the little piggies. And he was like, he was like, you're going to name them. And it's going to be really hard to sell one and butcher it when the family needs to eat. And I was like, I wouldn't name it. It's going to be like Charlotte's Web.
Talk about privacy. You'll just have secret names for the pigs.
Yeah. I mean, like you can't, we got to hide. We got to hide. Daddy's coming out.
And then you'll be like, I need to see
funny.
my phone.
I mean, we got to hide. Uncle Honeypot's coming out to like slaughter you. Here's what I like about him. He is super alpha.
I like that.
He said today that he wants to, in the future, he really wants to talk to his family. He doesn't have a large family, but he said, I want to start getting my family to go on Christmas camping trips every year where we rent like a cabin and we take our RVs. And he goes, he learned in the military how to make clay ovens. He goes, so we just that has some really good like Georgia or like North Carolina where they have some really good like mineral clay. And he goes, we could make like ovens around the camp and the men will get up and like have the men hooked on, and he was like, and the wives sit in the chairs and drink wine with their Uggs on. And I'm like, hell yes, sign me up for this shit. And I was like, I'll make bread pudding. He was like, you can bake. He was like, I'll let you bake whatever you want to bake. But he goes, the kitchen is my domain. And I'm like, and he goes, you need to tell me what meals you like so I can always make them for you. I'm like, grilled cheese. I'm really easy. I'm an easy bitch. Grilled cheese. Anything with cheese and bread. Fondue. But I was like, I'll make a bread pudding. I could probably figure out how to do that over an open fire. I know how to make Rice Krispie treats over an open fire. And he goes, well, I would build you an oven. He was like, I could make you a clay oven out of cinder blocks. He's like, I was in the military. And he goes, and I went, or hear me out. We can use some of that honeymead money to buy a really nice camper, and I can just use the oven and the RV because
And though he's still going to be
access to a hair dryer and a mirror, right?
He's going to be like, oh, I'll just do the meat out here. You can bake in the other oven. He'll be beating his chest. Well, does he do woodworking as well?
He sounds kind of like a jack of all trades. I mean, the way he talks and the way he wants to take care of and I didn't meet him on the Hive. I didn't meet him on any of the basic dating channels that we showcase. I met him, and I didn't meet him in an organic way, but like I met him on an app. But since day one, he's been like dialed in and interested. And being Julie and everything that I go through, I'm like, I have this to do. You don't want me. I self-sabotage sometimes. We've talked about that. And he is like, you're not going to do that. Don't do that. You're not doing that. Don't do that. He just had a birthday recently. So I want to say he's Sagittarius.
No, Scorpio is this month.
No, this is Sag month.
Oh wait, no. Yeah, I'm still in November, guys. Sorry.
He was, I think his birthday was, well, crap. I'm gonna have to ask him. I'll get in so much trouble. But I think he's a December. I think he's an early December. No, it wasn't yesterday, so it must be November. He might be a Scorpio. But
it's probably mid-month that it's.
But he is super like. Here's the other thing I like about it. Everybody else that I meet always 100% wants to go right to the bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
On every app. I have not had the play. He was supposed to come back at Thanksgiving and take me out for a sushi date, and he couldn't make it. And so we've shared pictures, and we've chatted, and we've talked, and we get along together, and we laugh. And I talked to him for about 30 minutes this morning at the breakfast table, but I haven't been with him, and there's something really sexy about that. And just, and he has been a super gentleman because in every picture that he has shared with me, he's not shared the goods. In every picture, when he's like, oh, babe, it's shower time, he has covered the goods. Now, I laughed one day. I was like, oh, it must not be that big. I'm not sure I can sign up for this. And he said, oh, you'll be surprised. But he goes, I have to tease you. He goes, I have to have something I can tease you with until I meet you. He's like, you tease me every day with pictures and things that you're doing and things you're up to. And he goes, that's not fair. So he goes, if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. I have to be able to tease you. And I'm like,
I love this. I'm so torn between the guy that's never gotten over you and the honeypot. I mean, this is like the drama of the whole show. This is the biggest drama we've had so far.
I know. And we're still picking people. Well, it's 4:34. So let's go ahead and see your picks. I'm going to scroll through real fast the Hive and just see who else. There was somebody that messaged me that was one of my
Let me do my picks in case we might come across the same ones. I have 4, and I was a little bit struggling. And keep in mind, this is because, guys, Julie is in there clearing out people she doesn't want. And sometimes I want people for her that she doesn't want. So here we go. The first match currently loading. Okay, so this guy is 40. He's an associate director at higher education. Okay, we have a mirror selfie in a bedroom, but it has all of these little details in it. First of all, he's in a button-down white shirt, yellow tie. There's a dog, adorable looking dog, on the rug, like placed right behind him, a little bit farther along, lovely little face. Then there is a dumbbell in front of him, and then ties like sort of on the dresser. So anyway, it's a whole thing. He actually does have sort of, not a mohawk, but his hair is shaved and it works for him really well. And he's got some scruff.
Oh, I think I know who you're about to send me.
Oh, okay.
Is he a hairstylist?
No, he's an educator. Let me get to the bio. Maybe we've got multiple mohawks this week. That would be cool. Maybe. Okay, have an awesome dog named Merle. Enjoy the gym.
I do know this guy. I read it yesterday. I think I read it yesterday. Okay.
Enjoy the gym, water, music, good food, and great people. I just watched The Deer Hunter. I'm pretty sure it's a musical. My favorite musical is The Deer Hunter. Update: this attraction is closed.
He didn't watch The Deer Hunter. Maybe he did. It's not a musical.
It's not a musical. I feel like I'm really into his humor, if that was humor.
Yeah.
And then, so he's 5'8", active Leo. He's a Christian. He's interested in gyms, concerts, bars, sleeping well, sex positivity. Doesn't look like a flag on here. Then, really cute picture with said dog Merle and some sunglasses. The quickest way to my heart is a lot of fucking fun. I see that sitting right across from me. More pictures with the dog. He's holding the door open at a restaurant in one of these photos. And
that could be AI. We know how that works now. Let's see it.
So you saw him. What did you think of him when you saw him?
Well, I think if I was super interested, I would have swiped.
Yes. But what made it the 8 out of 10 or the 7 out of 10 that didn't get you over the line?
Well, I don't know, because now I'm going to have you send him to me again to see if that's. I remember the name of the dog being Merle.
Okay, here. I'm gonna star him. Oh, oops! I super swiped. Ow! We'll see what happens. I think you got rid of him, and so now he's gonna be like, "Oh, she's back."
Did we get rid of him?
Well, you didn't. When I just swiped, he didn't go into the hive.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, we need to align our plans here.
Here's the thing. Ones that I was not picking, I was still leaving in the queue.
Oh, okay.
The only ones that I swiped out of the queue.
Wait, I'm being an ass. You have a lot more people in the queue. Wait, no, you only have one. All right, we'll solve this mystery later, folks. We'll report back. I really hope that Merle has a chance with Juleigh. Okay, so next up.
Now I'm like, let's go see Merle. Like,
oh, this guy isn't available anymore. Okay.
oh, okay. You swiped on Merle. He just. Oh no, is that? Oh yeah.
Wait, we got him? Oh, we got him. Oh my God, he must have just swiped back. Oh, and he already gave you a hint to make the first move. Ask me about food. Oh my God. Okay, we have to respond.
I would like to know your thoughts on food, although I may also be interested in seeing that brand new amazing musical, The Deer Hunter. That's what I said.
Great. I love it. Okay. So, where is my next?
But now I want to look at him because sometimes it's hard when you're in the hive and I'm in the hive too.
Yeah.
Because it won't let me.
Oh, I did this guy a couple times. This guy is a wild card for you, this next one.
I'm going to get out of the hive for a second just so you can like.
Okay. I'll get through my next guys. Maybe we'll get a reply from Merle and his owner, and then we can go from there. So this guy is 42. He is more salt than pepper. Okay. And he's not your classic type. However, we're just gonna go through it. I'm gonna hold your hand. I'm a blue-collar small business owner who grew up in Central Florida. I have a small circle of friends that I consider my family. I am 420 friendly. We love it. I have my life together, and I am looking for a partner to enjoy life with. He's 6'2", active, Aries. He's a conservative Christian, which we always know could go either way. Sometimes they surprise us in a great way politically. Fishing trips, gym, concerts, confidence, and nutrition are what he's into. Then we've got him fishing. My main thing is you might not be as into fishing as he is, but you can sit on a boat and look pretty, is my opinion. Then he asks, what's your dream vacation? Swipe right if you enjoy being on the water, fishing, and enjoying life with a great man. He has a cute picture of himself. Then we've got some parrots at a zoo. What makes a relationship great is two people who always, this is why I did it, who always choose each other even when they aren't getting along, which is almost exactly the quote that we had last week about choosing each other no matter what, even when you're not in the mood. So I really liked that. After work, you can find me at the gym or on the water. He also has a dog. And then he's holding a fish on the last picture.
Oh, we kind of like bounced off for a second. I like I was on, OF and I was listening to the camera. If you look at all of his pictures, which I'm glad you brought him up because this was my only I don't know. If you
so you know the guy I'm talking about.
Because the zoo picture with the macaws is at Discovery Cove. That's not the zoo.
Okay.
You're in Orlando. Here's the thing. If you start, we know that the hive picks your best picture to show you first.
It's true.
If you start to go through all the pictures, he's attractive.
Yeah.
And then you get down to one of the last pictures and he's in like that neon green rash guard type shirt, like long sleeve shirt. And he looks really big to me, like out of shape. Not like his other pictures.
Wait, in the macaw picture?
Well, it might be that one too, but there was one picture that just looks older. It looks older to me than the other pictures. And I'm like, okay.
Maybe there's multiple macaw ones.
Huh?
Maybe there's multiple macaw ones.
I don't know. I'm going to look. I'm going back in.
Okay, I'm going to.
Was he under the nearby category?
Let's see. I can also just send you a screen.
Is he? What's his first initial?
Well, his first picture now is not with the baseball cap. Oh, his first initial is J. He's England's Outdoor Solutions at owner. And he has a photo with sunglasses. He's got like a white fisherman's beard, like a white beard on a fisherman.
It's not under my nearbys, so that must mean that he is under. How old is he?
42. I'm going to send you pictures.
Yeah, send me a picture.
He has tattoos. I'm all about that. I would die if there are two macaw people and we're talking about a different guy.
No, this is him. There's something about his picture with the macaws.
It's a giveaway photo.
Huh?
It's the giveaway photo.
Well, he looks a little chunky, and then I know I'm being extremely picky, but in another picture you can zoom in and look at his teeth.
Oh.
And I'm just not attracted to him.
Okay. Well, we don't want to put him through that. So we'll move on along. But Jay, we thought you were awesome overall.
Good luck. It's tough out there.
It really is. Oh, who's this guy?
I wanted you to read before, because we're at the 4:45 mark and we said we're going to get off. But I want you to read under the nearby tag. So if you go to where it says nearby, scroll all the way down.
Okay, hold on. I got to send myself this.
You will see a profile. I just want you to read it so you can get your opinion. I left him up specifically. I left him in the hive just so you could like read it. I don't know if he's guttery.
Okay. I love a borderline. All right, so
but he's got beautiful amber eyes.
Okay, okay. First reference point. I'm on the nearby tab. What am I looking for? Is he on a boat? Great pants.
He's got ear pods in. Beautiful amber color eyes, almost like he looks like he'd be a vampire.
Okay, I see a man near the Eiffel Tower that I just got carried away
about. Is M. And he's 46.
Is he towards the bottom of the nearbys?
Yeah.
Okay. It's loading. Also, I'm getting a little bit distracted by some of the other people in here.
I know. I'm going to send you his picture, but I want you to read his profile text. I'm going to send you his picture right now so you know exactly who I'm talking about.
Okay. It's still, my thing is still loading. Feel free to send me.
Okay, well, I'm going to get out of here, but I just wanted you to go because we don't have tons of time left. I want you to be able to go read his profile.
Oh, we like his photo.
We like his photo. It's just when you read his profile, you start.
Oh, here he is. Okay. He's new here, by the way, according to the hive. All right, 46, 6'1", second picture, already know, got her. 6'1", active Libra, drinks socially. He doesn't know what he's looking for yet. He doesn't know if he wants kids yet. He's spiritual and apolitical. Okay. It's tough. He looks...
But read that profile. It's the way he words his profile that I was like, meh.
Okay, so the second photo, guys, he's wearing I love a good button down. He's wearing a nice, crisp Ralph Lauren button down, linen, blue. We'll move on. I guarantee you that you can't make your tongue into a taco. Okay. Then we've got a gym selfie. He has a very hot bod. And he's wearing glasses. You can make your tongue into a taco. So that's what you're going to have to reach out about, I think. And then there's a picture of him on a mountain with a beanie. And Julie's getting carried away now. And then
it's just because there was something about his wording.
Okay. Swipe right if you call that thing you put makeup in a pocketbook. Okay.
I thought that was weird because I was like, well, not everybody calls it a purse, but.
Right. And then why these are random things, like why is he fascinated by them? Is
right.
he trying really hard? Okay, it's meant to be if you eat only with a spoon and a bowl too. More juice, less dishes. He just sounds a little weird.
Right.
But I kind of like, we need to investigate. We need to go through the scientific process.
Maybe he is a vampire.
I mean, I just feel like we have to know. Can I swipe? You're not into him. This is a huge change for you. You're like, I don't know. He's hot.
I'm not into him because I just think he's weird. I think that's weird. I think those are weird questions to ask and weird answers.
Swiping left. The big X right here. Also, now that I've seen the answers, when you look at his eyes, they're a little bit like culty eyes.
Yes, vampire-y.
They are a little vampire-y. Okay.
That's our Alexa alarm. Alexa off. We'll take a few more minutes.
Okay, yeah. Do we have anything else we need to
I want to share this. So tonight, so we're doing this episode right now because Rebecca's going to London. It's part of her Christmas holiday, far, far away from Florida. And if you're going to go celebrate Christmas somewhere, it should be in Canterbury without Ron DeSantis. But but tonight, your very own Julie is going to be on the Dr. Wendy Walsh show. She follows me on TikTok, and she mentioned me a few weeks ago on her radio program on iHeartRadio on 6:60 a.m. I believe her program is on Sunday nights at about 7:30 Pacific time, which is about 10:30 here on the East Coast. We'll be recording my part of the show at 9:30 because she had a conflict. However, I don't know if the show will be running tonight or if it will be running at a later date, but it's going to be me being intersex. And she's actually a pretty well-known relationship authoritative and author and has a couple of radio programs and a couple of podcasts. And so 6:60 tonight on iHeartRadio. Join Dr. Wendy Walsh. And if I'm not on this week, her shows are usually about 2 hours. Hopefully I'll be on next week's. And then she's going to try and get me back on her podcast. I'm actually really excited because I get to talk about this podcast and what it's like to date. And we just think it'll be a wonderful opportunity, Rebecca and I do, for some exposure. And it'll be a high for tonight.
I'm so excited to hear what she has to say, too. Because, I mean, honestly, it's about you, but I'm sure.
Well, I think education, I think a lot, well, she's a doctor and she teaches at the University of California in gender studies. And she had shared with me that she shares my TikTok videos with her gender study classes. And I thought, like, this can't really be happening. That it just goes back to show you never know how far your story is going to reach. And who it's going to reach and the difference you're going to make in telling your story. And, here we have a little old show about dating in a metropolitan city and how horrible online dating is and how much even harder it is when you are different or you are perceived to be in a different form or light. And here she is not knowing really anything about intersex. And she's like, I want to hear your story. I want you to come on my radio show. Lots of people don't know about this. I want to hear your journey. I want to hear your thoughts. I want to help. She didn't really say make me a household name, but she kind of hinted that I need more followers on Facebook, on TikTok. And I just thought this is a prime example of being able to strike while the iron's hot and absolutely educate and advocate in a place that I wouldn't necessarily be invited to have space. So I think it's a great thing. And I think it can be positive, not only for our little old show here, Optimistic in Orlando, no matter what happens. And I think a lot of people don't realize we're not doing Optimistic in Orlando just so I end up in a relationship. that would be great. We're trying to help everybody out there that's navigating online dating and the pitfalls and the struggles that you are going to face, whether you are looking for a male, whether you're looking for a female, whether you're looking for a poly couple, whether you're looking for a multiverse universe, whether you're a Marvel character. We're really out there for everybody. And Rebecca and I have even found that I'm meeting a lot more people off the show organically than I have been necessarily on the show. So, but we really are. It's not just about let's find Juleigh her forever. If that happens, great. And if it comes from the Hive or any other app, great. But we're really kind of doing this for all of you. And there are a lot of you out there that, like the gentleman today from our Gentleman of the Week, hate online dating. And there are tricks of the trade and tips. Dr. Wendy Walsh actually said on our website recently, love is not about luck. She's like, in reality, love is not about luck. It's about skill set. And it's about having different skills and putting those skills into play, right? And knowing kind of what you're coming up against. She goes, it's not so much about luck. You're not just you happen to be lucky that somebody caught your eye, because we all have things about us that will catch people's attention, that put us into play, right? That put us in the game. But once you're in the game, you have to be able to navigate and know how to play the game, or you'll be right back in the dugout, right? She didn't say all that. Like, that's my take of what she said.
Well, yeah, you got to be able to play the game, and really learning how to love people is learning how to honor them, take care of yourself, so many different things. I know I'm taking up our time, but I do have to say there was another Gentleman of the Week this week who I actually got a little annoyed at, went on a little audio message rant, and the message back that I got was, I totally understand. It's okay if you get upset sometimes. I don't take it personally, and I don't judge you as a person for it.
See?
And those are the types of skills that I think we all could do with learning a little bit. Kindness.
It's free. We are going to actually end the show tonight. Julie's got some immense pay.
Yeah, we gotta,
and Rebecca's got to get back on the road. So hopefully next week we will be coming into you from here in Orlando and hopefully Canterbury, but we're working on that. If not, if we can't make that work, we will be showing an episode from a previous run, but hopefully we will be able to meet up with Rebecca and have some optimistic in Canterbury tales. So, see you later. Thanks for joining us. Love ya.
For more content, follow justjuleigh.com. That's just Juleigh, JULEIGH.com. Thank you to our guests, and thank you for joining us this evening. Join us next week as Juleigh tries a different rose